Yo, what's going on? It's Terrell, Hall of Fame, D-Line, tbkc, and all that sweet, beautiful, wonderful shit. And I told you I was going to give it a week because I wanted to really not be emotional, but come at this thing in the proper perspective and give a proper explanation of why last week's Nationals turned out to be such a train wreck and a disaster. First and foremost, it is all due respect to the owners of now Nationals champion Jack and his handler and everybody. It's total respect, but I am one of the founders, so I'll speak freely. The high rear is an issue, but the high rear comes from the stiff stifles, straight stifles, stiff stifles. The top line is off because of the high rear. So it affects the movement. The movement is not great. This is just a breakdown of the dog. Going around the ring, it should never become a point to that it looks like the dog is hyperventilating. I won't call it overheating because the building wasn't hot enough to overheat. The dog was hyperventilating. Some of you say, well, why is it that they used ice, which was another tragedy, ice to cool him down after the show and this and that and the other. Well, ice actually helps hyperventilating because just like other issues with breathing, cool air helps more than warm air. Warm air is inflammatory. Cool air actually is anti-inflammatory. So if it's actually the airways swelling up or closing down or the multitude of things, it'll actually slow everything down and free up the airways and different things. So that's why it's always worked when the dogs were having these issues. Now, it's a shame that I have to say this, but all of this went on at Nationals, and people don't realize how close we were to an incredible tragedy, which would have been the biggest embarrassment to the whole American bully community. Is the dog was in distress. He was definitely in distress. You could actually start to see the discoloration in the tongue and, on the videos, and that means lack of oxygen. And at this point in time, with all the excitement going on around the dog and everything else, it could have went the wrong way, and that dog could have died at that show. When you have to start rubbing the dog down with ice and it's very visible that the dog is in duress. Any of you who have ever seen dogs go out from this type of thing, it's very, very quick. You go from one point of the dog looking like it's in distress to the next thing, the dog, boom, and he goes down, and you're having a hard time bringing them back, and sometimes they don't come back. This is a very serious situation. Not only from his structural standpoints this is not the type of dog that you would want to win. We could go to the face, which I feel like the face is more bulldog than American bully. And then we go to the health issue. And the health issue is the scariest part because we are literally looking at a situation to where the health issues with this dog is horrible. It's horrific. And as we look at this situation with the dog being in duress like that, if that dog had died there, it would have been probably a nail in the coffin to the ABKC. But as it stands right now, the ABKC is getting drug all over the internet, as they should. And this is just like, how much further do we go now? Do we have, you already started to introduce micros. Do we have full-on exotics next year? Do we have full-on deformed dogs in the ring? Are we going to continue to stop shows now and let dogs cool off and different things of that nature? It's a shit show. It really is. This is a confirmation show. At no point in time, no matter what Dave or Bashar says, in a confirmation show, the dog should have great confirmation. Someone who isn't a judge shouldn't be able to just point out the fact that the dog has multiple flaws and issues. And those who are judges should be able to see that very, very well. It should be at the point to where the very first thing that should come into play is the dog's confirmation. If the confirmation is not the first thing coming into play, then you are not having a confirmation show, you're having a fun show. That dog did not have good enough confirmation to be a championship dog in any registry. Period. It should not have been. Now, if you want to talk about he's a tool and you can use him and you can straighten out his top line, his rear, that's another argument, that's another debate. But we are talking about the actual show ring. This was not a good show dog. This is why it's very, very controversial. We can go to breed characteristics where he seems to be overdone and more towards what Bashar talks about with his extreme dogs and different things that they don't exactly have to fit the American bully look. But if you're doing all of this, at some point in time, you have to decide to say, We just don't fuck with the old American bullies anymore. You have to get to that point. If this is your thing, and I don't want to hear, oh, breed to your vision, breed to your vision. Listen, if you are breeding to your vision, you are not breeding to the standard, because the standard only allows for a small room of error. You know what I mean? It's a written standard, but as it is now, the standard is not being followed, and this is the reason that Nationals has low attendance. This is the reason why the breed is not respected worldwide. This is the reason why many people are complaining and looking for new answers. This is the reason why everything is falling apart. Meanwhile, while everything is falling apart, we have Dave and Bashar dressed up like Peaky Blinders and thinking that everything is a fucking joke. This is the reality. This is the reality of a registry that y'all have not seen address the health of these dogs, period, ever. They don't have any literature, information on the health of the dogs. They don't do anything. And to throw this into the community's face like this is a fucking joke. But at the beginning of it all, what was that, 3 or 4 months ago, they told y'all that they were going to be bringing in extreme dogs. They're going to be bringing in this. You've heard the interviews where Dave has changed up from talking about great conformation and health to now saying that, the judge should pick a dog that has more quote unquote breed type over a great conformation dog. They are pushing the registry towards deformed stack off dogs, the type of shit that Bashar likes. It's just that simple. They want to bring up, Magoo's still living at 15 years old. Who gives a fuck? First and foremost, Magoo comes, he's a Denzel grandson. He's not quite that extreme. So if you want to point out one fucking example and you want to open up your mouth about all the dogs that have died at 1, 2, and 3 years old. Talk about that, because there are thousands of dogs that have died at 1, 2, and 3 years old, and you want to pick one from 15 years old. He's still living. What about all the dead ones? What about the dog that almost died at Nationals? This is why this is a big mistake. Another big mistake. If y'all notice, go back to last year this time. I gave them credit, even though I didn't like the dog's pedigree. That's not my type of pedigree. The dogs that you picked last year, Hangman, very nice quality dog. You seen the side shot, beautiful shot. You seen the front shot, beautiful shot. The dog looks very good. I seen him move, and he moves pretty well. So with all that being said, this is not a thing about just bashing the ABKC. This is about the ABKC methodically moving towards something that they say they don't represent. First, they didn't want any Miyagi and this and that and the other, and they talked about how Miyagi was this and that. Then they allowed it. Then they allowed this. Then they allowed that. Oh, on the side, let's start registering micro/exotics, and then we're going to have an extreme class, but boom, we're going to hit y'all with an extreme nationals champion, because this is the way we're moving, and they're moving away from the real American bully altogether, but still trying to pay people and fly people in and different things from the past, and to say, oh yeah, this is the American bully evolution and this, that. It's no such thing. Once you write a fucking standard, the standard is the standard. The dog doesn't completely change. And the way that y'all are changing the dogs, pretty soon it's going to be dogs that are 200 pounds, 14 inches, and if they live to be 18 months, they'll be okay. And like I said, it is nothing about the dog Jax, but he's not it, man. The dog nearly died at the show. I'm just being real. The dog has a high rear. The dog has a bad top line. You can't deny what we all seen. You can't deny having. Look, man, I've had dogs now damn near pushing 30 years. It is 30 years. To be honest, I got dogs when I was a kid. It's been 30 years. I've never had to rub my dog with a fucking ice pack. Not one time ever. Not whether it was in the hot Ohio summers or if it was in the hot Florida or Texas summers. Never had to rub my dogs down with ice for anything, and that's outside running around or whatever. You've got a dog inside that's hyperventilating, damn near dying after you named it the Nationals champion. This is the disgrace for the whole community. It's a disgrace for the ABKC. It's a disgrace for the breed, and this is why the breed is being considered a worldwide joke, and this is why they're talking about you in Europe, they're talking about you in South Africa, they're talking about you in South America, Central America, and all over the United States. Something has to change or this breed is going to die. They showed you exactly who they are and what they care about. The fact that this motherfucker is running around looking like Peaky Blinders while the damn national champion is about to die, and all he can do is defend his actions and talk about everybody's hating on him, is a great example of why the American bully is dying today. I'll have more on this topic soon. Peace.